lot of great players that get waived or cut from rosters, so I'm not worried at all. But we did evaluate that.
The Sun have been sporting t-shirts with Jones' picture on them with the word Cover Girl and Easy Breezy buckets as part of a campaign to help Jones win the league's Most Improved Player award this season. Cover Girl also happens to be Jones' nickname.
Major bombshell just dropped, and the WNBA will never be the same. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert has been arrested after Brianna Jones reportedly delivered explosive receipts that could crack open one of the wildest cover-ups in pro sports history, according to Brianna herself. But this ain't just...
BG, this question is actually for you. What do you think about Bree's season so far? We feel like she's been...
Spectacular. I've been on the other side of guarding Bree. She's an amazing player. Getting to play with her, seeing her basketball IQ, in practice on the court, seeing things develop. She's always talking. I'm out, telling us different things, regards different things that she's seeing, and they're always right things. And then, what she does on the court, it's amazing.
Some locker room drama or a roster mix-up, Cathy is being accused of hiding something massive. According to Jones, Engelbert covered up Brittney Griner's biological gender, not just quietly, but aggressively.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful. I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that. But when it comes to death threats, like I'm talking about people who come down to my address, follow me home. Like it's come down to that. Multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me like naked, literally.
Really?
They have sent it to my family members. My family members are like, uncles are sending it to me like, are you naked on Instagram?
Silencing whistleblowers and forcing other WNBA stars to play next to someone who, by league rules, allegedly shouldn't have even been eligible. Now that the truth is starting to spill, things are getting real ugly. Witnesses are stepping forward, receipts are being exposed.
It is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
And Cathy's name is at the center of it all? But get this, it wasn't just about shielding Brittney. Nope. According to Brianna, this whole situation was also meant to bury her rise. Because if Griner had never returned to the
Is someone supposed to score when this is what is being allowed to happen to Caitlin Clark on the regular? How the F is this defense? Is this the WNBA or NFL? Look, hold on now. NFL. What kind of defense is this?
WNBA spotlight. And if Cathy hadn't done everything to keep her on the court, Brianna Jones would be the league's top dog right now, next to Caitlin Clark, of course. Instead, she got played and tossed aside in a mess she had nothing to do with. Let's rewind the clock real quick. This whole saga didn't start with handcuffs. It started back when the league made a choice. And that choice was Brittney Griner. When Brittney got arrested in Russia back in 2022, the entire WNBA hit emergency mode. She was their face, their brand, their media magnet, towering at 6 feet 9 inches, dunking like nobody's business, a gold medalist. Brittney was everything the league wanted to sell. So with Griner stuck overseas, the league was panicking. Meanwhile, someone else was shining, Brianna Jones. She had just bagged Most Improved Player in 2021 and then snagged 6th Woman of the Year in 2022. But here's the kicker. Her numbers were starter level. She was killing it on the court. Check this. The Connecticut Sun even rolled out a whole Cover Girl campaign to spotlight Brianna. They knew what they had. A clutch, efficient, gritty machine in the paint. Quiet, but deadly. With Griner out, Brianna was silently building a legacy. Then, 2023 came, and disaster struck. Brianna tore her Achilles in a late-game moment that left her sobbing as she got helped off the court. Her whole season, maybe her whole rise, just crumbled. And the moment that happened, the league did a full reset. Eyes snapped right back to Brittney Griner, like Brianna had never even existed. And it didn't stop there. The league shipped Brianna off to Atlanta, but not just to any team. They paired her with Brittney, the same player she'd already passed skill-wise. Now both of them are in Atlanta, and the media is pushing this dominant front-court duo narrative like it's some fairy tale comeback. But let's be honest, Brianna didn't team up with Brittney. She got pushed into the background to make room for a player wrapped in controversy and protected by the league's silence. Atlanta's whole playbook is now revolving around Brittney, from how they coach to who they spotlight in the press. And Brianna, she's just supposed to smile and play along. The league's covering up way more than just stats. This is deeper than basketball, and it's finally coming to light. Cathy Engelbert didn't just turn a blind eye. She covered up everything. Blocked medical files, silenced key voices in the league, and straight up protected Brittney Griner's image like it was her job, even when it came at the cost of every other woman on that court. And worst of all, she robbed Brianna Jones of the spotlight she earned. If Cathy hadn't pulled strings and buried the truth, Brianna would have been running the WNBA by now, owning the court as the new face of women's basketball. Now that Brianna's finally stepping forward and telling it like it is, Cathy Engelbert is finally catching some serious heat. But here's what's absolutely wild. Nobody in the WNBA even flinched when she got arrested. No shout-outs, no Instagram stories, no thank you speeches, not even a fake farewell post. The silence was loud, and that tells you everything. That wasn't just forgetfulness, that was intentional. The players had already cut ties with Cathy a long time ago, and it didn't just start with the Griner cover-up. Cathy had been losing respect way before that. Let's rewind to the 2024 season, when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were getting dragged across every social media feed in America. Caitlin was catching nasty racist jabs, while Angel was being slammed as too aggressive, too loud, even too ghetto, just for showing confidence. And the messed up part? Angel said herself she was getting actual death threats from some of Caitlin's fans. Real hate, not rivalry, hate. Everyone was watching to see what Cathy Engelbert, the league's commissioner, would say. This was her chance to lead, to stand up for her players, to show that the WNBA protects its stars. But instead, Cathy went on live TV and compared the whole thing to Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird, like it was some cute throwback rivalry from the 80s. Yup. During an actual CNBC interview, she called the Clark versus Reese drama a great rivalry. Like, what? She brushed past the racism, skipped over the threats, and tried to package it like some warm, fuzzy sports history moment. You can literally watch the clip. She smiles while saying it, like she's selling a rerun, not addressing two Black athletes being targeted and harassed. In that moment, Cathy didn't just lose the fans, she lost the locker room. Because let's be real, the WNBA exists today because of Black women. They built it, carried it, and kept it alive through everything. So when the commissioner publicly downplays the one issue that hits them the hardest, racial hate, it's not just disappointing, it's a straight-up betrayal. And that's not even the only lie Cathy was pushing. She was also out here misleading the public about player pay. Told national platforms that WNBA athletes could make up to $700,000 a year. Sounds great, right? Like finally, women in sports getting their money. But dig deeper. That number only includes overseas deals, endorsements, and bonuses, not the actual league salary. Cathy was using those inflated figures to paint a pretty picture while most players were still hustling just to make ends meet. She was out there selling dreams, while her players were living a completely different reality. So when the league stayed silent after her arrest, that wasn't random. That was earned. But real WNBA players weren't buying any of it. They called BS right away. Gabby Williams from the Seattle Storm jumped straight on social media and shut it down. She let everybody know those $700K paychecks Cathy was bragging about were wildly misleading. Sure, maybe a few top names like Brittney Griner can touch that number, but only if they stack up sponsorships, overseas money, brand campaigns, and endorsements. But the average player? They're barely pulling in $70,000 from their WNBA base salary. That's facts. And while folks were already side-eyeing the money talk, things got even worse last season when the refs completely lost control of the court. The officiating was straight up chaotic. Some of the worst calls fans had ever seen. Players were getting tossed around, shoved, hit, even injured. One fan said it best during their video breakdown. The WNBA is starting to feel less like basketball and more like the NFL. And honestly, they weren't lying. It wasn't just bad refs, it was dangerous. It got so out of hand that even the Washington Post reported it was becoming a threat to the sport. That's how serious it got. And where was Cathy? Nowhere. She didn't step in, didn't call out the refs, didn't tighten up the rule book, nothing. She just let it play out like it wasn't her problem. Now here's where things get real suspicious, because while all this madness was happening, Brittney Griner was back on the court. And let's be honest, she's one of the most physical players in the W. That's not shade, that's just reality. She's taller, stronger, and moves totally different than most players in the league. But when she gets rough on the court, the refs say nothing. Not a tech, not a flagrant, not even a warning. Take this clip from a game between the Mercury and the Wings. You can see Brittney starting a full-on scuffle. Elbows flying, shoves getting thrown. It looked more like a WWE match than a basketball game. The ref barely reacted, just tried to calm things down and keep it moving. But the fans? They weren't having it. One person even commented, "What's going on here? This man has been exposed as being abusive and a male. Why is he still a player?" Now that might come off intense, but that's how deep the frustration runs. People feel like Cathy Engelbert was protecting Brittney at all costs, no matter what it meant for everyone else, even if it meant letting other players get hurt. And once again, Cathy said nothing. She didn't step up to clarify, didn't check the officials, and didn't do anything to make sure the women in her league felt safe on their own court. She just stayed quiet, letting the controversy spiral and the game fall apart. All those media spots Brianna was promised, poof, gone. Brand deals vanished overnight. It was like the league didn't just want her to stay quiet, they wanted her wiped off the map. But Brianna didn't fold. She didn't bow down or disappear. She spoke up, loud and clear. And now, Cathy Engelbert is in handcuffs, caught in the middle of what's being called one of the biggest gender scandals in pro sports history. But don't think for a second this story's done, because it's just getting started. Brianna didn't stop with Cathy. She dropped names, big names, and if even half of what she's saying checks out, the next person to fall won't be a commissioner. It'll be someone way bigger. We're talking about the top of the food chain. People the league never thought would get touched. This isn't just drama. This is a full-on shakeup, and it's about to rock the entire sports world. So if you're still watching, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on those notifications, because the truth is dropping fast, and we're exposing everything. You don't want to miss what's coming next.